Iktomi. Stories, they teach things, but when you're emotionally developed, you can see the um, the process underneath that, and you see that it's duality. He's teaching duality and what happens from those kind of decisions based on duality. So as a result, some of the stories are quite comical. Some of them end up kind of scary and gruesome, but they all teach something. And when, like I said, you look underneath that and you see a pattern, and it's a dualism. Yeah. So that's what he's showing. So when you can see that, that shows you're on a good emotional development. You're having one. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Anywho, there's one story in which it's kind of silly, um, where he's walking along. Yeah, that's how them stories always start, and he hears some laughing, and it looks like you hear a whoa, then they all start laughing. Yeah. Little voices, boy, they're really laughing, and then again you hear whoa, then really crazy laughing, like they're just having a good time. So he's wondering, where's that coming from, and what are they doing when they say whoa? So he's looking around trying to find out what's happening. In the meantime, he runs into this coyote, yeah, and this coyote says, "Hey, cousin, what you doing?" Tommy says, "Hey, leave me alone." He said, I'm trying to find laughter." He said, and so the coyote said, "Oh, he's trying to find laughter. Hey, the Iktomi. It's really kind of somehow." So the wolf, not the wolf, the coyote walks away, but he decides he's gonna follow Iktomi and see what the heck is he doing. He's piqued his interest. Yeah, so he kind of follows Iktomi. Iktomi's looking. He looks behind trees. He's looking under bushes and he's looking for laughter. Yeah. So he's looking all over the place, and finally, he sees these what do you call it? He sees these mice, um, and they're what do you call it? They're playing a game, and what they're doing is they're taking their eyes out of their sockets, and they're throwing them up in the air, and then they catch them in their eye socket. Yeah, so that's the whoa part. Yeah, when they throw their eyes up in the air, that's when they're saying whoa. Yeah, and then they fall into their eye sockets, and sometimes these mice will catch the wrong eyes. Yeah, so that's when they really start laughing. And so Iktomi's like, "Hey, little brothers!" And then the mice turn. It's, "Oh no, it's Iktomi! Ernst, get out of here! He's gonna try to trick us!" So they all run into this someplace to hide, and they see this old buffalo skull laying out there in the middle of nowhere. So they decide to run into the skull and hide. So they're sitting in there. So he peeks in there, yeah. And he says, "Hey, little brothers," he said, "can you teach me how to do that? That really looks like a good game. And then maybe I can play with you guys." And then they say, "Well, we can teach you, but we don't want to play with you because you might trick us." So Iktomi says, "Okay, as long as you teach me how to do that, I'll really be happy." So they say, "Okay." So they show him, yeah, how to take his own eyes out and to throw them up. So then Iktomi says, "Oh, okay, thank you, little brothers, for helping me do that." Yeah, so he does that. Yeah, he takes his eyes out and he throws them. But he decides he's gonna, he wants to throw them the highest because he thinks that the higher you throw your eyes, the better you are, and the more funnier it will be. Yeah, so he really hung threw his eyes as high as he could. Yeah, so he started, running around in circles trying to catch his eyes in his eye sockets. And here nothing happened. So he's running around looking up, yeah, he's keeping his head up because he thinks that they're still coming down. So first he thinks, geez, Mom, I didn't think I was this strong, he said. Holy, he said. Boy, my eyes, I bet you my eyes are going around the moon. That's why they're still coming down, he said. Yeah, Iktomi talk, yeah. So then, so he's okay. I'll just sit here for a while. Then I'll keep looking up so that they'll fall back into place. So he's sitting on a log, yeah, on a tree, and he's waiting for his eyes to come down. So he has his face looking straight up. So the coyote's watching this from a distance. He's like, "What's wrong with this guy? Come he's sitting like that?" The coyote looks up into the sky. I wonder what he's looking at. I don't see anything up there. So then you can tell that it's a long time has gone by, and you can tell it's nighttime because certain animal noises you hear at night. So Iktomi's getting concerned, yeah. So now he's thinking, oh no, I can't find him, and so he starts to run around, yeah, and he's bumping into trees, and he's he's keeping his head up though, yeah, in case his eyes finally come down. And so he's running around, and it's dark time, and of course he can't see anything. So he keeps running into trees and tripping over fallen tree branches and stuff like that. All the time he's trying to keep his head up. So the coyote's just sitting there looking at him, really confused. What's with this guy? Let's see. Then morning time comes. And as the morning comes, the coyote sees something glistening in the tree, a certain tree. So he looks over there and he sees that it's some eyes. Yeah? The coyote says, "Gee, I bet those are Iktomi's eyes. What's wrong with that guy?" Yeah? So he thought, I'm just going to sit here and see what he does. He's curious, yeah. It's not even gonna help him. You don't want to help him because he might trick you somehow, yeah? Because the coyote sits back, and I'm gonna just see what he does. So Iktomi's running around. He's crying, yeah. Oh, he's running into trees, and he's really, bawling his head off. So finally, coyote goes over there. And Coyote says, "Gee, what's wrong? What's wrong? Why are you crying?" Yeah, he's trying to act like somebody else. He's changed his voice. So Iktomi says, "I threw my eyes up in the sky, and as I'm trying to play a game, and here they didn't come down." And he said, "I think they must have landed on the moon," he said. So Coyote says, "Oh, okay." He says, "They're in that tree right there." He said, they never even went up that high. He said. So then Iktomi says, "Oh, okay. So can you help me get them?" So that Coyote says, "If I help you, you leave me alone." So Iktomi says, "Okay, I'll leave you alone." He says, so then Coyote goes to that tree, and he tells Iktomi, "Climb up that tree, and that branch, that first branch you get to, that's where your eyes are. Just feel slowly, and you'll feel them." So Iktomi does that, and he climbs up the tree and he goes to that branch, and sure enough, he touches his eyes, and so he puts them back in his eye sockets, and by that time the tree branch that he's on, it breaks, and he falls on the ground, and he's what do you call it? He's knocked out for a while. Then he gets up and he looks around. Oh, I got my eyes back. He's like, that was an interesting game. He gets up and he continues along. Yeah, he walks away. It's just silly, isn't it? In this one, the mice were playing a game, but they were playing it inside the buffalo skull. And Iktomi wants to do that. And whatever these mice are doing. And the mice say, yeah, but, you have to come inside the skull. Yeah? I think they're playing an echo game or something like that. Because inside the skull, it's a mouse would say something, and then it echoes around. And so then they all laugh because they're saying funny things. Yeah. So one mouse might say something like, "You," and say "you," and they all start laughing. These mice are just funny, yeah. So Iktomi wants to do that, yeah. He wants to echo like that. So he said, "You're too big. You see, you have to be small." So Iktomi says, "Yeah, I can do that." He says, and so then he tries to make himself small. Yeah, he's pushing his head into the skull, and he accidentally pushes the mice out from the eye sockets and the nose. Yeah, so those mice come rolling out from these areas, and they start laughing because it's funny, yeah. They got pushed up by Iktomi's head, so they really thought that was funny. So, so they took off right away, yeah, because this is Iktomi. See, they don't want him to trick them, so that right away they really ran away. So that's the coyote's walking by, and he sees Iktomi. He sees Iktomi's body, but he's like, "Where's his head?" See, this is goofy guys here, yeah? Where's his head anyway? So then Coyote says, Hey man, he says, "Who are you?" He says, and he says, "That's me, Iktomi." His mouth is you can't hear him too good, yeah, because his head's stuck in his buffalo skull. And so, and so then Coyote said, "Do you want my help?" And Iktomi says, "No, it's I'm playing a game." He says, "I don't need any help." He says. So the coyote says, "Okay, well, have a good day then." And he walks away, but then he's staying nearby. He's gonna watch him, yeah, see what he's doing. So Iktomi's laying on the ground because for those of you that know, a buffalo skull is really big and it's really, really heavy. Yeah. So so Iktomi's trying to stand up. He can't though, yeah. He's bent over and he's really trying to trying to stand up, but that skull is so heavy. He just barely can, move. So finally he starts on all fours, yeah. He's dragging his head trying to do something. He bumps into a tree because he can't see, yeah, because his head's in that skull. So he bumps into this tree, and then he grabs the tree and he starts to stand himself up like that. So he's standing with one arm, holding himself up on the tree. He's trying to be all casual, like nothing's wrong, yeah. Then his head really goes forward. So he starts staggering forwards, and then his head goes to the left, so he starts staggering left, and then it goes to the right. It's staggering that way, then it goes back, so he starts staggering backwards, and gee, he's just bumping into trees and things like that, and and then finally he crashes back on the ground again. And so Coyote standing from a distance, and he's like, huh? Huh? See, this guy's off. He says, he's he's he wants to laugh, but he doesn't want Iktomi to know that he's watching him. Yeah. So finally, he's after staggering around, and he can't get that skull off his head. So now he's starting to cry. Yeah. See, but it's muffled, so like that. And so Coyote goes up to him and he changes his voice and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says something like he went out to hunt a buffalo, and he was eating the meat, and here he tripped, and here he his head got caught inside the skull. And so the coyote said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Well, if you want my help, let me know." He said. He says, "Yeah, you can help me. I don't know what to do." He said. And he said, "Well," he said, "why don't you?" He said, Coyote said, "There's a really big rock over there. Follow me." He said, "So now, really smash your head on that rock, and that should break open that skull." And so Iktomi says, "Hey, that's a pretty good idea." Yeah. so, so he he feels that rock, so he knows where it's located. So he backs up and he really slams his head on that rock, and so nothing happens. Yes, he ends up bouncing off the rock, and he's laying on his back on the ground, and he's knocked out. Yeah, he knocked himself out. So, so what the coyote was, he was hiding behind a tree. He was really laughing, just quiet. He said, "See, this guy is off." So he waited till Iktomi came to his senses again, and then he went over there and said, "Oh, it didn't work, huh?" So Iktomi said, "No." He said, "Gee, my head really hurts." He said. So Coyote said, "I got another idea." He said, "Why don't you put your head in the water?" He said, "and that'll make that skull get, change size. Maybe your head will get smaller so you can pull your head up, because your head will get all cold from the cold water. So then you can pull your head up." So Iktomi says, "Oh yeah, that." He says. So the coyote leads him to a stream, and it's evening time now. Yeah, so the water's getting cold now. So Iktomi puts his head in the water, and pretty soon he's trying to wiggle his head up, but it won't come up. And then pretty soon he goes unconscious, and then now his body's going down this river, yeah, and then it gets to a waterfalls. So then his body goes over the waterfalls, and it crashes down on some rocks, and that crash enables that skull to finally break open. Yeah. So then Iktomi is free, but he's still kind of unconscious, and so Coyote runs over there and drags him to shore before he drowns. Yeah. And so he just leaves him there, and he walks away. So Iktomi comes to his senses, and he wakes up, and he says, "Gee," he says, takes a drink of water. That water tastes good. And he walks away. He has a funny walk. Yeah. So that's the end of that story. And then Iktomi was walking along. See, it goes into the next one, his next adventure. But see, you get the idea of, when you say, don't be doing foolish things, because look at what happens. Yeah, taking his eyes out, throwing them in the air, and trying to put his head inside of a buffalo skull so he could hear his echo, and just silly things that what may work for somebody may not work for you. Yeah. Oh shoot. Anyway, so those are a couple more. Yeah. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of these kind of stories, and some of them are just silly here. Anyway. The coyote guy's just crazy and just sits there and watches him. why, why don't you bang your head against this rock? And oh yeah, he says, and ends up knocking himself out. See, so really think hard and long before you make a decision about doing something that looks really exciting. Yeah.